guys, and next
in charge, that's when everybody can be in charge. And so that's okay. Or succeed, and then everybody sees something that you didn't think of, then, susceptible to that superstition of authority, you're willing to fail, and you will follow you in your success. So, yeah.
Different projects have for 30 years. We keep working on our camp stuff. People were asking me if I put WorkFest, if we get these big, tents like they had at All Expo that cost $1 billion, but these things from Walmart, you get $99. It's kind of a wedding thing. So
you can rent them, yeah.
Well, we bought them for $99. I got it sitting over there. We're going to put it out. What will we do next year? Bow and arrow, pellet guns, you think would add to the event? That you would be willing
to take care of anything but myself.
No! And participate in something. Don't have that anymore. Now what's your excuse?
You make a pencil. It's really complicated. There's all kinds of brain power in 100 people. Nobody said, hey, let's make a pencil before those 1,000 people existed. Those 1,000 people were out there making all that stuff before somebody said, hey, we can put this together in this way, and here's a pencil. What a great idea. So you got to do the little things that you can do and look around at the little things other people are doing, and that's when you can start putting stuff together. And that's how we get big things like buildings and roads.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. See, it's good to be in a group of people that understand this and operate that way and take care. But they're still, it's the couch surfing anarchist. They're but I need. We're trying to great idea of give me money, and I'm like, no. What can you add to the thing? What's your ad? What's your skill? How many bricks can you lay in an hour? I mean, what do you do?
Right. Yeah. I teach people how to avoid scammers when they're trading cryptocurrency, because I love trading cryptocurrency, and really what I'm after in my life is redemption, not for myself, but for the scammers. Because if you can find a person who's been living from stealing from other people, who realizes how that makes their life suck and turns it around, in order to be a successful scammer for more than a couple weeks, you have to be pretty smart. And if you're that smart and you just get better and better at helping the world, and you're like, in my texting them a story that's going to happen one day where and he's still playing along because they realize, you have to treat your customer. In their minds, their victims are customers. You have to treat them with respect and go along with whatever they say. Have long conversations. And then once one double agent and stick these ideas in their head that they could have a growing audience of customers, people who care for them and appreciate them, then they can turn their lives around because they're smart enough to do it. And man, do I want to see that happen.
Well, are you making any kind of progress? I mean, you've been doing this a while, so you're seeing things change online. Communities form. Hell, you just went to Jackalope. That's been going on 8 years. Yeah. You go, hey, where you guys been? So you're kind of hanging out. I tell you, a lot of those guys, I don't know if you got to talk to a lot of the people. A lot of these guys are heavy into crypto. They're international. They're working contracts with countries, and they're doing, it's not just the dumpster diving anarchist. It goes all the way up, and everybody's on the same page as long as it's voluntary and peaceful. We don't care. So, bring your Liberty Lover booth, whatever, But the thing is that it's all the same theme. Did you catch all that, or did you make some new contacts in crypto?
I don't know what you mean by it's all the same theme. Everybody's an individual. They bring their own individuality. Whether they're an anarchist or not, they bring that.
That's not a theme? that is a theme.
Yeah, that's one theme, sure. But it's a theme that's pointing to a whole bunch, right?
Well, what do you think it's pointing to? What's your optimism for the future?
Respect. Right. It sounds like Davi wants to say something.
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, good.
No, Davi's not allowed to talk.
No.
No, he can
I only butt in when I object.
Each other.
When you want to bitch. Well, Davi, tell them about, the stuff that you did. You worked on different anarchist writing platforms and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I used to be the editor of dailyanarchist.com, and Wendy McElroy used to write there, too, so I was briefly her editor. But there were a lot of different writers that came through there. MK Lords came through there. There was what is his name? I can't remember his name. Tom. It's a resource for people that are new to the idea.
Well, this is have you been up until then? I mean, have you been kind of? Well, when we come back, we'll find out. Dave is seeing things are trending in the right direction, or is it going to get worse? Fresh breath and get that magic mud.
You don't
thing.
like your own teeth,
right? Get somebody else's. The that magic mud stuff. We promoted them and everything.
Uh-huh.
When I first got it, I did it. Yeah, it worked, and I'm good. But it's real.
Coal, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
I think it's coal.
Yeah, it's carbon black.
Charcoal, carbon black. Yeah.
It's I think a process.
It's got some eucalyptus or something in it too for flavor.
Well, I do it, and I been gone the summer a lot, and I came back and I go, God, my teeth are getting yellow. Did it within 3 days. Big difference. I mean, the first time it was a big. I went, holy crap! I forgot how well this stuff worked.
Yeah.
You don't have to use it all the time. You just do a few days, and boom, man! It takes. So
charcoal is a powerful substance
for a lot of stuff. And so I encourage people to, you got yellow. I'm just warning you, don't do that. You'll make a mess. So what do you think, David? When you got one more segment here, what do you want to promote? What do you want to encourage? Because it's guys like you that this is what happens. Jackalope goes in waves, and this time in popular. But what Alma did, instead of making it one weekend, she wanted an excuse to hang out up there for a couple, 2-3 weeks and have everybody be up there. So she's just like, hey, Jackalope's 2-3 weeks now. Everybody come up to Jackalope for 2-3 weeks, and it was for Alma, But the main weekend is always the first weekend in August because that's when the monsoons come. That's when you start getting the green meadow, the grass. That's when it's cooler.
Say that so everybody hears it. The main week, because I didn't know that, and that makes sense. If we pick the first week in August, that's the Jackalope weekend. That should be out there so everybody knows.
Well, it always has
really,
been. Are you in charge of that now? Are you the guy?
That's the thing.
Are you the guy? Are you going to tell everybody?
No, everybody's the guy. That's what I'm saying.
Boom! Then you're the guy.
First week, yeah. And if you happen to go in any weekend in August, you probably meet one or two, because I'm sure there's people out there that are like, I don't care.
But if you go the first weekend in August, you meet Ernie. Okay? That's the way it is.
There you go. Yeah.
You can go whenever you want, but I'm going when, in the first weekend in August, and I'll probably be 4 days. Usually I do 4 days. I get there, Thursday, midday, or Wednesday night, and then we leave Monday. We kind of, cleaned up, made sure everything was nice. And then they come and get the porta potties. But
there's a group that does this in Atlanta. They're called Anarchy in Atlanta, and the way that they organize is literally someone in the group says, "I'm going to coffee here today. Anyone want to go?" And then presumably people show
anarchists
up.
Anarchists have coffee. There's anarchist flash. This is what happens. The first years, the 2 weeks. The meadow, so we don't have to be in the middle of the thump. I just whatever you guys can play. But they were pretty cool this year. They stopped. I think about midnight is the music stopped. Most campgrounds are 10 or something like that. All right, wait a minute. Come back.
That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Led Zeppelin needed to be more in the forest, and we have more music, rock and roll and stuff. But there was, who gets to play the music? Well, Thomas Friedman, he had, he's working on the pirate boxes that we have for IPFS and downloaded all these. Well, he's got all these different shows and everything downloaded, but he also had his own music selection. And he would just he was doing an FM broadcast, just showing that he could, doing the FM broadcast. He had problems with it. He had to run it off of a battery that didn't have the AC radios and rock and roll and whatnot. Or they run the internet from top of everybody's going up to the top of the Bitcoin transactions at their vending tables. Then Bob Anderson there, send all kinds of pictures and everything. So we campsite. What's the pimpest, coolest guy? Jay Noon did it for $100. A jet out of gas, like 1,500-mile range or something. He had pressurized water. He had all stuff and the connection in the internet. And so I think that this next year off Jackalope, what can be done without having any. We could have a list. All right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It doesn't have anything to do with nothing to nobody, but you got to be careful. The man in the second year showed up with the helicopters and the battle rattle and who's in charge? And
you are, sir.
You, I guess. You got the gun. And then they go into the 10x10. Alma had a Agorist Marketplace banner up, and it had a little camera with a light on. It wasn't even connected to anything. It just looked like a surveillance camera. And it said, free hugs.
Friends.
And they just kind of backed off. What we found out was the problem is a bunch of military intelligence and retired police and fire and all that kind of stuff moved up to that area to get away from the zombie apocalypse. And here comes these guys, we're just up here camping. I'm not allowed to camp. Who did these, porta potties? I don't know. Jack did, go blame Jack. And then you do it with crypto and so on. So you don't, it's just, we just go. So with that attitude, I'm hoping that you'll encourage, your readers and other people, anarchists that that they can perfectly willing to come up and make whatever the hell they want.
I refuse to answer on the grounds that it might incriminate me.
Yeah, I refuse to answer because it takes too many brain cells to talk. So, whatever my reason is. So this is, I'm glad, what was the big thing that you got out of it? Now that you're done with this experience, you're going, I feel what?
Possibility. Really, people coming together and seeing that they can do anything. Because, when you're up there, you can do anything. And, there's a Telegram group for Jackfest, and I was in it, and somebody mentioned the cops pulled them over, and each person in the car answered, ability is, that cop is a human being. They're not just cops. They're human beings. And a human being always has the potential to recognize, take responsibility for your life, make life awesome for everyone around you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that means you have to still stop living off. Recognize being human and joyful and celebrating with people and honoring people. The story is they're hired to protect and serve. And everybody, anarchists now, we all know that's bullshit. But the cops don't. They still think they're protecting and serving when they come and beat the crap out of us for having some pot. Well, not pot anymore because that's legal, right? But whatever. They think that they're protecting and serving when they're really oppressing us because they're not connecting it. And if we can show them the compassion needed for them to connect those things together, they're going to get on the path to get out. And there's a lot of guys who were in the military that are now showing up at Jackalope because they saw the beast and they didn't like it, so now they're anarchists. Have you heard of the Rainbow Gathering?
Oh, yeah. That's what they were afraid of. They were thinking, it's a bunch of rainbow people who are going to take over the forest, and we were trying to get up here to get away from them. That's kind of what their deal was.
Interesting. Does anybody say what the problem with the Rainbow Gathering is?
They don't care. They're not under control. If you're not in control, you're out of control.
They don't have permits. That's the problem.
That's right. If I'm not controlling you, then you are a threat to me. That is such a childish attitude, but that's the attitude of letting them know we're here to take care of each other, and you could be included. Just stop dicking around with us.
Well, it's always, there's somebody's got a great, I tell you, the first years, they're, militia and guns and training and, be our own force or whatever. Well, those guys, a lot of them still come, but they're just seeing that you're going to herd cats and, a bunch of anarchists. I tell you how you herd anarchists. The cats, you just get a can of tuna, man. You start opening some kind of drop, boom, here they come. So what's the tuna? You got to have some tuna. So whatever it is, and the tuna is not somebody else doing something for you. It's the inspiration that you have. You get to do what you want and share it. That sharing, that's what makes Burning Man so popular. A lot of these other things is that this idea of you can do what you want. And if you keep trying to organize it or getting too many, this is an official side of and the page or whatever, that kills that. Because they keep wanting to go to someone looking for permission. Stop. Now, this is the battle that Alma and I are having all the time. And it's a good balance. You get some stuff done and people do different things. But when it was less organized is when you started getting the schedule app. This is when you started getting the internet transmitted. This is when you got your phone, thing going. This is when you started having community app and software that people knew what the schedule was for the stage. This is when you start. The more organized you get, the less that happens. This is the freaking point I'm trying to make.
This is what's going on at PorkFest now. Like when Church of the Sword was doing security at PorkFest, it's not like they contracted with PorkFest. They just said, hey, we got some walkie-talkies. We're going to make sure everything's copacetic around here.
Yeah, de-escalate, tension and stuff. They weren't in charge of anything.
Yeah, and anybody else could do it. Like, if you decided, I don't like Church of the Sword, I'm going to run my own walkie-talkie crew, then you could. And people did. But now there's Pork Rangers, and so there's like a central security whatever group that's like official and contracted.
Their idea is not service. They're not, well, here's a schedule. Here's some printed schedules. Oh, that thing's over there.
Right.
We're driving around our golf carts. We're giving rides. They're just like this separated from the event.
It's because when it was a voluntarist or volunteer product, then the community is the customer. Like, they have to solicit the approval of the people they're serving. Once they're contracted with the event itself, now it's the event is the customer and the attendee is the potential criminal.
So this is what happened this last year. A certain event, happened. Davi and his girlfriend Karim were staying in a hotel across the street, like less than a quarter mile down the road. So they got a nice air conditioned, we're setting large, and they would have a vending spot there. They go to get in, and you don't have your wristband. Well, you know who I am. I'm like, the rules. We got rules here. So it became a thing. Davi made a big deal out of it. Roger's in charge of the crew. Hey, they were just following the orders of, and so I'm going, see, they're not empowered to serve the customer.
Yeah.
They're serving you. They're serving a sheet of paper with bullet points on it. It's a different mentality. And you can avoid that when you don't have that kind of thing. You're just camping out in the forest. So can we expect you next year, Dave?
Yes, I'll be there. Hey, first week of August. Every year, first week of August, right?
The first weekend.
I remember the first weekend in August. Okay, good. And then maybe a couple after if people want to stay.
Yeah, no, people come early, stay late. There's no thing. It's just that's when I go. People go whenever the hell they want. But that's when the peak is. And for a lot of reasons. A lot of it's just weather.
Why
did you move?
There, right there. Now we can just yak it a little bit without worrying about commercials. But I am encouraged by someone like you finding this and going there and kind of getting the vibe. This was probably a calmer vibe, and it was not as large. It's been 2-3 times this size, different years. Get to the point to where we're going, damn, man, we're going to have to start going back in. You need to explore the other areas that you can go back in there. And there's a, forest, back, they try and put humps and you can't go where the rave tents used to be and different things. But now the people that make a lot of money on food and coffee and that kind of stuff, or the bars, they'll be back, because they'll be back. Yep. How many restaurants can you support? Well, it depends, I don't know how many people go, but there's the best ones always make money. And if I wanted to make money, me and Donna could be all kinds of restauranting. We had our restaurant, man. We could make some good food for a good price and fast, but then that's like work. I don't want to work,
Yeah.
So what are you willing to do a little bit of work on? What do you think you'd do?
Oh, I think if I go to northern Arizona to go camping, there's not going to be anything I'm willing to do work on.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, see, you can't say, what they should do. Should get your ass doing it, or it wasn't that important to you.
Do it. I might come up with something in the next, what do I have, 11 and a half months?
Right.
I might come up with something and bring it up there and do that.
Yeah, some little thing.
I like the idea of a crypto class, but most people up there already understand crypto well enough that they wouldn't have the questions.
Yeah, they're pretty cryptoed up.
I like handling pretty complicated questions, though, so I don't know, maybe it could work. We'll see.
Well, we had Patrick Byrne from Overstock is a regular guest on the show, and he kept hearing about it. We had commercials for it when he'd be on, and so I go, I want to go, and I'm going, look, Mr. Billionaire, you bringing your own toilet? I mean, this is dry camping. This is not a fest. It's not like Pork Fest. I mean, you got, bring your entourage. You're going to pre-send your advanced people to set up your whatever. Then we started thinking, we're going, we could have some guest speaker big guys. We got the dome thing. We could set up, Bob and I had talked about that. We could set up a really nice, glamping kind of thing. Well, we talked with Crosby of Rogers Campground for Pork Fest, and he's like, yeah, get your ass over here and set it up and do it. Come up and, we'll have a semi-permanent building. They'll just leave up, and that's our thing when we go, and he can rent it out. And the answer is always yes. It's just how much you're willing to put. The problem is that in the forest, you can't leave anything. You can get all kinds of Hollywood you want, but you better be able to take it down there and not know you're there, a couple weeks later. So that's the only condition you'd really have, or you take responsibility for whatever. But, we may do something. Bob and I want to do a Pirate Cove at the Jackalope. Because you saw a lot of pirate stuff there. Oh, the guy that had the colloidal silver, different products. He had black thing, whatever. The logo was ARRR with an X, like a prescription, RX, So I'm going, that is a cool idea. So these things kind of pop up, and some of them get legs and they go. And I think anything that you come up with, you and your friends, you come up with something, you get a lot of pictures. It'll be, hey, you were there, gives you some street cred, and it blossoms in your area by having done it at Jackalope. That's one of the benefits. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Larkin do Candles in the Dark at Jackalope. That would be pretty cool.
Well, he kind of has. I mean, in previous years, we've done forums, and we sit up on the stage, and we do a different thing, and he talks about, he can do it. We might set it up. But it was a bad time for him. He's going back and forth between here in Pennsylvania, and they needed to, wherever they were with their fifth wheel, they needed to move. Amanda wants to have an extra room for her son that she has on the weekends or something. It's just, they got their wish list. I'm like, let me know how that works out, But we'll see what happens. We've been trying to help him.
I just realized Larkin would probably be really, really happy if somebody else said, oh, yeah, I'm going to do a Candles in the Dark, and then be able to do it as well as he does. And that I haven't heard of that. It's just the idea just popped into my head, and he would love that because that's the whole idea. Everybody should be the leader they can be.
Yeah, maybe he would. We should have him on and ask him. I go, hey, I want to do a Candles in the Dark thing at Jackalope. I'll take care of it. Wait. I don't know. Are you copywriting now instead of copylefting, Larkin? I don't know. I think Dave should talk to him about it.
I think I might do that. Awesome.
Well, whatever you come up with, we got so much stuff going on because I'm of the opinion that the 2020 election cycle and it be in August, that people will either be done with politics and they need a break, or they got projects that they can expand the awareness of what they're doing and they need an audience. So either way, it's good to go up there. And I'm glad you got to go and just kind of got the vibe. So on a 1 to 10, the vibe was what? You're just like, what?
That's 10. I can't go. That's I have some property in Nicaragua, and I go down there, and it's so tranquil and peaceful, and this was the same. It's the best time of my life. So
yeah, see, it has this impact on people. A lot of people, they don't understand. They go, well, what was there to do? Whatever you wanted. Nothing. That was the point. It's just so. It's so chill, and there's nobody giving you they go, wow, they're kind of having an argument. Did I either go make peace, or they're not really? They're just animated conversation, or I turn around and go this way because I don't care, So I go up on the hill across the meadow. Where's Sheriff Ernie? No, Ernie's dead, man. I don't know who you're talking about. Ernie died on the way up here. I am not in charge of nothing. So that's how I like it. And if people can bring their own ideas one of the things that we keep threatening to do, and I think this next year we got some of the stuff to do it, is an Olympics. because that big field there, you take a 9-iron, and some golf balls, a javelin, some art, a shot put, a discus, a little this, little that, and all the kids and everybody. We have an Olympics. It would be fun because the first year we did that. Keith brought up a discus and a shot put and some other stuff, and it was just awesome. We had a good time. But organize. You got to let people know it's coming so that when people go expecting or ready for it and got their tennis shoes, But, it's just you're willing to take on that kind of responsibility for something early on. And I'm not. Usually I'm busy. And we may. We got, some other equipment that we got here for our bug out stuff anyway. A lot of it you go up there and test, and I think we're going to do that again. It'll be a pirate bug out kind of thing, and we'll do another contest for somebody's 20 by 30 campsite and say, all right, what cool crap do you got? Or your team or your crew or whatever. It'd be kind of like Burning Man contest or something. Because Joby, he's all in. He's got his 747 up there. He's showing me pictures, of their 747 that they did. That's Joby's crap. He's with that crowd up there. Burning Man. They have a big 747 without the wings on
Joby
it.
Weeks
landed
a 747 at Burning Man?
Well, they shipped it there. It's a 740. It doesn't have wings. It's everything but the wings. And the top, they cut off, and they have it. It's a party.
Okay.
You have a bulldozer move it. And the sand. I'm telling you, man, it's because they can. That kind of crap. Whatever. Well, Dave, thanks for coming on. I'm glad I got to meet you. And if we don't touch base before the next one, stay in touch and whatever promotion we need to do or you can do on your own or what you're going to be. And it's not so much like these things will go on of course, Alma will do whatever she wants. But for me, it's like I'm promoting pirate whatever the hell I'm doing at the Jack. It's not on the Jackalope thing. We're just our crew going there and then we present, ta-da, we're here to our pirate babes doing something, so yeah, we'll have fun.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. I always like talking to you and having an audience. Thank you. I love my audience, our audience.
Well, the guy, the native that was up there that played the flute, did you hear him playing it?
I probably heard him, but I didn't know who it was. And yeah, I remember hearing music.
I didn't get the act. Everybody's saying how great he was, but I never caught him actually playing it. But we talked to him about sewing some leather pirate garb for us. So we're going to be talking to him on air and get that taken care of. Dave, thanks for spending time with me and Davi. Hopefully we'll see you next year, man.
We need a botanist up there too, because I want to know what all those plants are. Which ones can I eat? Somebody tell me that.
Well, we did the first couple of years. That was Dave. That was Dennis and Karen. There's a guy that does a class here by Lake Roosevelt. He lives in a canyon up there that he homesteaded, and he has medical students that go there and learn how to make tinctures from desert plants and so on, a lot of Native American medicine. And Bob makes moonshine that he uses for the tinctures. So we got a lot of contacts. Well, one of the people, Dennis and Karen, that had taken his classes before, had this big loose leaf binder that's probably 4 inches thick, and it has pressings of all the different plants and pictures along with their medicinal uses. So exactly what you're talking about, we've had that class up there.
Yeah, I'd like to see that come back when I'm there.
Have it come back and we'll do it again, maybe. I can't make these people do it. It was just an ad. Hey, who wants to know this? Boom. Right. They're filled up and they're doing it. One guy we had a pig roast there a couple of years. We had dressing of quail and rabbits. They did that. We had the squirrel eating kid, this year. We had one of the other things that they did was survival structures. Guys like, all right, you're caught out in the woods and the whatever, and this is how you survive a night kind of thing. So they do that. And then there's like shooting. We've had shooting classes and stuff up there before. There's plenty of, forest to go shooting in. And then, so anything that you're talking about, either it's already happened, can happen, but how do you organize that? Like you say, it's organized by individuals, not the group. They may list it, but that's not the same thing as somebody got a permission slip from the Crown to do it.
Right. Awesome. Thanks.
All right, Dave. Thanks for spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you and your friends next year, man.
Excellent. Me too. Have a good one.
All right, peace, brother. Bye.
Bye.
All right, let me hang up this. Turn that. So you ever going again, Davi?
To Jackalope?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not averse to going to Jackalope. It's just, I mean, Corinne has back problems to make rough camping hard for her. And Jackalope is not really going to be an event where I make any money. So it doesn't have the draw that, like, a convention does, because that's what I do for a living. But as a vacation, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's not. Well, you were sick,
Yeah.
last time.
I almost died last time.
Yeah, you were not digging it. I don't want to oversell it, and I never really do. But when you talk to guys like this, even if there's only 120 people go, they're like, "Wow, that was awesome!" It's all the weight of the world just shedded off of me, and I'm going, "Yeah, that's that's kind of the point." I'm looking at an opportunity to live what we espouse. And there's always these people that'll go and say, look, this is how you should do it. And we got our a booth of, download our app and we'll take all your data and sell it for whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what this is about. Well, what is it about? I don't know, spontaneous order. You do what you want. And it's been way more effort on my part than I anticipated trying to keep it that flavor. Because there are other people come in, they go, I name off a bunch of names. They go, hey, you know what you need to do? Well, I don't need to do shit. You can do whatever you want. Well, we need to have a group of you want to kill a movement, try to control it. That is the problem. So people are, you didn't have this thing this year that you did last year. And I go, well, you know how it happened last year? So-and-so did it. So-and-so here this year, or he don't want to do it anymore.
Sounds like a business opportunity
Sounds
for you.
like you can get on it. So some people sell a lot. I tell you, the things that are popular there are alcohols, people that do mead or they make their own microbrew or something like that. Especially items like coffee. Health items, like the colloidal silver guy, and you have different things. Now, Todd, the guy that does a bunch of the T-shirts, he's T-shirt guy. He's art. He's kind of, complicated logo of, he's got a lot of different things and an idea, and he'll spend a lot of money, and then he'll sell a couple $100 after he spent $600, that kind of thing. And then, of course, he's disappointed. And I'm going, you don't want to put a lot of money into this kind of, I think I like his stuff, and I spent $100 at his table, but, then Bob went and got some stuff, and you want to encourage him, and then they'll almost take what he had left over and sell and all that kind of stuff. But he put a date on it, and he had 2019. I'm going, I don't put dates on stuff, man, because that for just this reason, you can sell it next year. But so he's disappointed. He's like, remember talking to you and talking, Luke here and there. He's like, feeling he's one of the crowd, and we're going to go take. I go, yeah, Luke is having trouble. You're having trouble. We're having trouble. It's all this censoring of whatever. The Liberty community is not making bank.
Yeah.
Unless you're part of the machine of supporting whatever, learnify yourself on that. I mean, that's how it works. But I want to see the creativeness of these guys and all the effort and passion they put into this. I want them rewarded. I want them to keep doing it. I want to encourage people that it's, but don't think I'm like making billions of dollars on any of this stuff.
Yeah.
At least yet. We're working on it. So that's what we'll do. The next year, if I make it if all these other things go to crap, all these festivals, Freedom Fest was Trump, man. This thing was a Trump thing, Trump. I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy about that. And next year is probably going to be even more so. But Dr. Frank and I may go in with Tim, and we'll go do the Trump report all day, every day. That'll be awesome. We'll have a crowd. We need to have space for chairs.
Sure.
So we'll do something like that. That's the only reason I want to do that. And then Fork Fest, Pork Fest. I haven't been paying attention, but there's going to be competition there. And Crosby, we made him part of the conversation. We're like, look, man, the owner of Rogers, what do you care? Pay me my money. And that was one thing, when you get too organized, this is a perfect example, was Agora Alley. Tell the people what happened there. And you're the one that noticed this. We're doing a radio show with Ian, and you're going, let's take a look at the economics here.
So there's a kind of progression that happened. My first Pork Fest, I would say, they called it Agora Alley, and it was that front row of campsites, and it's because all the vendors wanted the closest sites to the pavilion.
Because that's where all the traffic went.
So that's where all the foot traffic is. But it wasn't organized by the event. It was just all of the vendors just knew, hey, that first row is prime real estate. I'm going to get my spot there because it was first come, first serve. And so they dubbed it Agora Alley. Right, because it was one row, all the vendors.
And they
were
would
in one
want,
row.
if they were successful, they wanted to reserve it for the following year. So they go to Crosby, the owners say, "Hey, I want to get this for next year," and then it became like a first come, first got.
So it became Agora Valley after a couple of years when it was like 2 or 3 rows. All the vendors knew that that's where it was, and the organizers are like, "Oh, well, this is a trend that's happening, so we're going to make signs that say Agora Alley, and they're going to put them on those rows." And that was like one thing. And then this year, I think, was the first year where the organizers were like, we're going to just rent all of Agora Alley and then sublet it to the vendors at a premium
of $500 to $800 a week.
Yeah.
It was some ridiculous, are you kidding me?
So suddenly the spots in Agora Alley were more expensive than general admission camping, like the rows behind it. And so all the vendors just moved. All the vendors moved 3 rows back. They got general admission camping, and Agora Alley itself left Agora Alley.
It was stark.
Yeah. The
you
first
would
3
look
rows
at
were
it
like empty.
and there'd be some guy sitting there with his knife thing or some, one vendor of a whatever, and they're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
They had to pay extra.
There were a handful of vendors that were like, no, this is my spot. This is what I'm used to. I'm going to pay the premium. And so there were 4 or 5 vendors on that front row still. But for the most part, all 3 of those rows were totally empty, and the party moved.
And, and then you talk to the guy, we ain't got to name names, but her initials are Carla Garrick. But anyway, you talk to I love Carla. But, this was, and she was kind of, sensitive about this issue. And I'm tired of hearing about it. I go, God, it's a lesson learned. It's
she's
just
tired
economics.
of hearing about it because she's technically not an organizer anymore. She's just the person people
She's on
know.
the Free State Project thing, and then you had the organizers for Pork
But
Fest.
she's not making these decisions. People just know her, and so they come to her with complaints.
She was tired of hearing about it, though.
Yeah.
But I could see whenever, this is a perfect example of whenever you try to manage something, you try to organize it, that's when you kill it. Mm-hmm. Let it go. And the point that I was making to them by the end of Pork Fest, we had Richard Grove and Lisa were there, and they helped come in and save or do the best they could with the Red Pill that was just a week or 2 before in Connecticut. And they were very instrumental in getting that organized. And he has a group of a class that he has 200 people in this class he's doing of, quit being afraid of your own shadow and, go out and be, instead of being a nerd geek, be a super nerd geek, and go out and whatever. So he's influencing a lot of people, and I'm trying to hire some of these. I go, you got some stars, man. I need some stuff done, man. Give me your stars and I'll pay them. Let's do it. So they're working on that. Well, he had a lot of software and updates and site stuff and affiliate programs and how this could be promoted for next year. So I introduced him to the guys and to Carl, and I said, if you really want to go this, route, well, talk to these guys. This is what they got going on. So they're working that out. In addition to Fork Fest, which is Steven and Derek J and Ian and these guys, they're just like, screw you, we can do our own thing, which I don't have a problem one feeding into the other. I don't care which one's first, second. It doesn't matter to me. I just need to know, and I'll just go do whatever I want. Fork Fest is more like Jackalope. It's just you do whatever. You're just camping. Well, Agora Alley is what? That's Crosby. You just go. You rent it or you don't rent it.
Yeah.
That's how it worked before. It's not this. I got to pay a premium for your event, and you bought it, and I get it from you. It was just another way they wanted to milk it. They were trying to make money.
Yeah.
And so what happened, I'm going, look, the best Pork Fest is when it's in the campground. When you have the events, right? It's Alt Expo, you have a campsite, and Jordan starts playing, and all of a sudden there's 60 people there, and all the restaurants open again.
It's the campfire hopping. I barely ever even go to the pavilion anymore.
The campfire hopping, that was when they had, were you there the year they had the bars, the competing bars?
Mm-hmm. And the chili cook-offs and all sorts of contests and stuff. I didn't see any of that this year.
None. It's because these things just happen on their own. Somebody, takes a spot, and he goes, okay, I'll cook a chili. I remember Stephanie Weeks, Joby's wife, did a a vegan chili that was really good. I go, this is cool. So that got put in there. So these are the things that kind of have evaporated because you got to have like an official somebody in charge. Nobody wants to be in charge. They just go and do it and just let it go. This has been my advocacy. And the reason we started Jackalope was to do a direct comparison with this. It's like, what can happen when nobody's in charge?
Yeah.
Just about anything. Cool stuff. How to skin a goat.
Right, because it's like, I want to have a chili cook-off contest. It's like, well, then go organize it, as opposed to like get permission and make sure the organizers have it on the schedule and make sure you, whatever.
That was another thing.
It's a liability thing too. If PorkFest has an official chili cook-off thing, well, then suddenly food regulations are an issue. But if you just do it yourself and nobody's going to report anything, then it doesn't matter.
I'll let them report. I don't care. Report on what?
No, but I just mean like in previous years at PorkFest, there have been attempts by various state agents to come in and say, well, if you're serving food, well, then we have to do a health inspection, whatever. And people closed ranks and said, nothing's going on here, nothing to see here. But if PorkFest has some food event as something officially on their program, well, then they're in a lot more hot water than
what Crosby has done. Crosby, we talked to him about a lot of this stuff as we're talking. He goes, a lot of times they'll say, well, Crosby this and Crosby that and regulator, that's all BS. Crosby don't care, okay? Crosby goes, look, I provide you guys protection. None shall pass that gate. They don't go. They have a warrant. They don't get to go. We understand. You guys are protected. You do whatever the hell you want. They deal with me. What else do you want? It's a private event. Unless there's some violence or somebody called 911 or somebody something, because they did do that before where a sheriff came in and they were just kind of patrolling. They were going, they got to see what's up. They're probably just curious. Some deputy or somebody just wanted to, because they could. I got a badge and I'm curious, so I can pull you over or whatever. But nope, hell no. So that's kind of not a thing anymore. Crosby protects. Now, but somebody at Jackalope, who protects? Nobody. There's no event or whatever. It's a bunch of campers. So you want to single out a camper for some reason, well, then you got other people to deal with. So I'm comfortable with it. It's a mindset. So that's what we were promoting, this mindset. Well, now at Rogers Campground, what's going to happen? I don't know. Until we get closer to it, what date or who's in the lockdown kind of doesn't matter. But this time when they're doing PorkFest and we were helping, we did the T-shirts for everybody and all that kind of stuff. Now, Derek J. is like, we don't need T-shirts above large.
Yeah.
They're not allowed into our Studio 54 club anyway. But they go like this. They go, but you're okay, Ernie.
Yeah, right.
You're a token fat guy. So
I'm a little higher than that standard too.
But that's their thing. They want to have a class, because I found out what the deal was. Spin and Derek J every month have some kind of clubbing experience at their place. They have a thing. This is just one more month of their thing. We're going to do it up there.
Yeah.
But they don't want a bunch of...
do it in Portsmouth.
Yeah, they don't want a bunch of people being there just being lumps on a log, not being cool. They got to be the cool people. So they have a guy in a tuxedo or something with literally a red velvet rope and this big dome that they had with air inflatable furniture and a dancing area. It was cool as hell.
Yeah.
So I go down, when we had
They somehow built like a flooring or a stage or something, because there were multiple levels on the inside of that dome where it was like a dance floor and then like a raised seating area.
I think that's the way the campsite was. And they kind of took advantage of it.
They exploited it by building on top of it somehow.
Yeah, the dome was so big it was like into the trail, man. It was like into the road. But it was a big ass dome. It was 25. But they saw what we did with the, our pirate dome that we did. Patrick Burns in there rocking it out and everything, and we had Collie being DJ with the pirate mask on and so on. I mean, it was awesome. And so they go, yeah, we can do this. So they did. I'm like, cool. What do I care? Now. Derek brought the dome, but because they had their own, it was a PVC kind of thing that didn't need it. All right, kind of peace out. You guys do what you want. So I think we're going to build a dome up. I don't want to commit, but we talked to Crosby. We may do something semi-permanent. But the actual event Pork Fest and Fork Fest were distinctly two different things. In the beginning, are we going to have a schedule? Well, then they started doing this like Google schedule. I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I was a dick about it. I go, do not tell me you're all anarchists and the first thing you're doing is telling Google everything that you're doing and when you're doing it and who's doing it. I go, you can't find a freaking schedule. I go, write it on a napkin, take a picture of it and put the JPEG up. Oh, got a new thing? Add to the napkin, take another picture of it, put it.
Right.
I go, man, don't even do this. Well, we're going to do the Woka or Woa or there's some apps for events that do.
Yeah, it's like Hoova.
Yeah, Uva or
Wova.
something. Well, it's the same kind of crap. It's it's forever and always, and then they're following you around and GPSing you and stuff. I'm going, are you kidding me? Don't even try and get me involved with that bullshit. So what they did is they were using something else, and then eventually PorkFest decided to incorporate ForkFest schedule in with theirs. Mm-hmm. Just as a solid, or what the hell, might as well, and kind of overlap, and we'll do it anyway. So I'm like, okay, so there was that. They do that. Now this next year, hopefully they'll have something a little more decentralized. But do an event, and it's all anarchist on Google. No. I'm definitely not going to not bitch about that one. I just no. So I'm sure they'll come up with some. They did. They had different things. Well, then PorkFest kind of they're made nice. They came to terms with PorkFest is doing what it's going to do, and then Ian got to stay. He was like banned, and then he was there, and I'm like, am I supposed to? It was Friday, and I'm like, we're right into the peak of PorkFest, and I go, am I supposed to turn you in or something?
Right.
Citizens arrest. Yeah, it's Ian. Citizens arrest. Right. So these festivals are experiments in society and a lot of things. And I've been paying attention because I've been doing this for decades. And what always happens, this is what happens. When you get popular, when you start hitting the 1,500 people in the forest, when you start getting... And it's already started. You hit like 300, and there's always people, what you ought to do, and we need to take care. Fine, do what you want. What support do they get? Who goes and sees it? What do they, they just, So they kind of gravitate over to Alma. She's got the flavor. But it's still a little much. I want to see how spontaneous orderish this can be. Because if you get too much, ForkFest.
Yeah.
And then it may become the number one event.
That's the thing I was thinking was that might just happen anyway. Like we talk about how in early PorkFest, the family section and the adult section kind of naturally segregated. Mm-hmm. And there was a sort of back area of the campground where supposedly this sex dome was. I never saw it. But there was a natural separation. It didn't require zoning. People just found the part of the campground that they liked.
You may be uncomfortable one year, but you kind of got the
but
bead.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wonder whether or not
where the playground is, that's the family section.
Yeah. It might end up being that it's not just geographical separation, but temporal separation. That the week before might be the free-for-all drug degenerate party, and then the week of is the family activity party, and these people keep separate because they're just there at different times.
That will naturally happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Over time.
Yeah.
But if you try and dictate it, it won't happen along the same. Then it's like, well, we're in the section of, and you didn't, and you're on the line of, in the buffer zone of North and South Korea or something. I mean, it's like, seriously. It's just, one, you got to have tolerance. That's the first thing. Then you got to, now, one of the couple there with the kid Archer, I've seen him baby grow up there.
Yeah, Patrick and Mari.
Yeah, they're cool. And so Patrick and Mari, where do they live? They live in Arizona somewhere, don't they?
No, they're in New Hampshire now.
Oh, really?
They were nomadic when they came to Jacksonville.
They were all over the place.
But now they have a house in Manchester now.
Well, they went there and just did simple, had a grilled tacos. They had a rotisserie barbecue that was just constantly cooking chicken. Just whole chickens. So they just had the chicken meat. They just chopped it up. He poured a corn tortilla on there, put the chicken, some pico de gallo of whatever the hell it was, and maybe a little something. Boom. It was 2 for $5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And it was right next to Alt Expo, and it was hopping all night, and it was the place.
Yeah, it opened up. Jordan started playing. All these people are, all right, we're making tacos again, at 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
So it was, I guarantee they made a bank. I don't know if
I bet they did well, yeah.
I bet they easy over $1,000. You think?
Well, they sold out every night.
Yeah,
and they ran out of meat twice.
Yeah, no, they couldn't keep it up. It was a perfect example of the event was in the campground. And they keep trying to move it down to the pavilion. And no matter what, Reason Magazine, Heritage Foundation of think tank of whatever speaker they got down there to make nice with something, nobody gives a crap. Bill Weld?
Man,
who gives a shit about Bill Weld?
Yeah, it was Bill Weld showed up.
Yeah, I'm like, who gives a shit? Bill, you go in the camp. You want to see? Go up in the. Never mind. I'm whatever. Whoever came up with that one.
When Gary Johnson showed up. It's not that kind of party.
It's in the crowd. It's in the campground. And if you let that happen, it becomes spontaneous order of this is where the party is here. There was one guy, he had the hookah campsite, the Green Army
like a hookah
tent.
lounge, yeah.
Yeah, the Green Army tent thing.
Riaz? I think his name's Riaz.
I don't know. He was passed out the first couple of nights. He didn't make it. Because he was, up late, getting everything all set, and everybody's like, hey, we're here to party. And
that was a cool tent. It was like a big old, like army tent, and then like Persian rugs on the inside.
It was very cool.
Rings and music and lights, and it was cool.
It was very cool. And then, and you have like little private, they want to do their own thing, or they invited you, or how late. You just got to feel your way. And the one thing you were talking about, campfire surfing, that was probably my favorite year. And it was the year or two before they went 501 whatever, and that's when we did. So it had to be 9-10 years ago because we're in our 8th jackalope. And I could see where it was going. I'm going, nah, we need. Now, Bob sent me a picture. It has Jackalope 2019 that Todd did, a nice shirt and the logo, and it has kind of a a jackalope head on, whatever. So he has some nice art. And then above it, he had on it the spork. There was a knife, fork, fork thing that they called it Fork Fest, and that was a little plastic spoon, fork, knife, camping utensil thing. And I have one here, but I broke it, in my backpack, so I got to glue it together. But I don't know if it was nylon, whatever, but 3D printed something. But you have this spork, and he goes coast to coast because Bob went to Pork Fest and Fork Fest the first time he's ever done. I keep telling him, you got to go. Well, he has a house now in Boston or near there. That's a family place. His family. His mom and sister died, and it kind of comes to him. So he's up there renting it, and you guys go check it out. And he's retired and on vacation now. So he's out there working on that. Well, he's going to take his boys. He saw pictures, and Danny, they were up here at Jackalope, and he showed him pictures. And I go, come on, tell the boys you think they'd have it. He goes, oh, yeah, you guys would dig it. So I think next year they're going to go there. And Bob and I were talking to doing, a food thing, just to show we could make something really easy and fast and have the kids make a bunch of money, and we just make sure they got it going on, and you guys work it. You don't work it, you don't make money. You want to make money, you work, that kind of thing. So we'll do that, and then something simple. And I'm thinking that Fork Fest is going to continue to be a thing. I think they will complement each other, and hopefully there won't be any ouch quit it because they're separate events at separate times. So there'll be competition. Crosby's going to have to whatever, but the Fork Fest is not going to try and pre-buy anything and then resell it or any of that stuff. Let Crosby deal with it.
Yeah.
You want this lot? He protects you to do whatever you piece out, and we're done. So I'm interested because you're going to see Jackalope right next to Pork Fest. That's what's going to happen. What we've done, nobody's in charge, so everybody is. That was a slogan, Jackalope, which, of course, Fork Fest took. So, peace, I don't care. So this is going to be an experiment, especially in the 2020 election cycle, because you're going to be Merca, and you got the Trump thing. Then you're going to have, I don't know whatever the hell the other side is going to be, and then maybe third-party stuff, and somebody will break out of something. Have you been paying attention to the election debate, any of that stuff at all?
I kind of watch the Democratic field because I know that that's where the most interesting news is going to come from, but they're all terrible. I mean, there's no libertarian that excites me really, so I
want to see that debate.
Yeah.
You know, all right, bumper, run, because they're going to try. Republicans are going to come in and try to explain it to us and tell us how to do it. And of course, I saw Nick Gillespie from Reason, Nick Sarwark, national chair that's moving to New Hampshire, by the way, and some of the other guys at Freedom Fest. Hey, Ernie, what's up? I go over and say yo, and I could see what was going on. This is Justin Amash love fest of who's going to benefit from, and I don't care. He ain't libertarian enough for me, so I don't care. So, but Bumper Hornberger, I'm going, yeah, that's the debate I want to see. So Bumper is going to be a hardcore libertarian that's going to, go up against this pseudo-libertarian thing. We'll see what's up. So I don't think they may want to do that. They may run him as an independent because they don't want that discussion. That is the discussion they don't want.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to do it. And I think that simply because they don't want somebody running as a libertarian again to come up against a real libertarian that we're fine. No, we're not having the Trump, whatever the hell, this anybody but Trump thing coming in, and we're going to use the Libertarian Party. All right, you guys want to play? Let's play.
Well, they want to get all the libertarian sort of grassroots behind like tweaker libertarians, like libertarians that want to tweak little policies. They don't want a groundswell of libertarians against war or against the Federal Reserve.
Nope.
Like that's the thing that they really they were afraid of in the Ron Paul campaign, and they don't ever want to see because they want a duopoly of candidates that are always going to keep the big policies in place.
Yeah. The whole thing's a psyop. Might as well just run QAnon or something. And QAnon for president. So I am looking forward to this battle. So in 2020, a lot of our effort is going to be pirate. It's just making fun of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's setting a standard. It's having this impact. I'm sorry?
It's all that's left.
What do you mean all that's left?
I don't feel like we have any control over the process at all, and I don't feel like there's any serious chance of winning any substantive change, and so all you can do is make fun of it. All you can do is try and move the culture.
Yeah, I don't care about, win. What the hell does that mean? So, I'm happy with what we're doing. Davi and I are going to get to work now. We're just sitting here yakking while he's doing some stuff, and we're waiting on some emails from guys working on the site and so on. So, I need to start getting editing, get this up so you guys quit your bitching. I always start getting emails about noon. They're going to 2-3 hours from now. Hey, where's my whatever? If somebody said something about the iTunes, I think it was because I've been gone. I go check the iTunes feed and I gotta check it now. God dang it. Because they said, well, the last show was on, and I go, yeah, well, that was the last time I did a live show.
Right.
But so we're back in studio. We're going to be doing, I think we're in studio for a long time. This summer, I've been gone. I tried to take the remotes and do as much as I could, and so I never let more than a few days go by without me finding some signal or something, and I have my Comrex with me. But we're in the studio now for the duration, and there's a lot of things coming up, but it's in planning for 2020 election cycle, because we're not, big giant, but we can foresee in the future what needs to be done, some marketing stuff that we're doing and things that we need technologically ready for us to be able to do that. Well, that's what we're working on now, and Davi is helping putting the pretty lipstick stick on all our efforts, and then of course the letters and so on. So we're working on that for the next 2 weeks. But Davi's going to be hanging out as we do a lot of this stuff. I may do usually Monday we do reruns. I think we should do a show Monday. I'll be doing Monday shows, kind of making up for all the other stuff, because we got a lot of stuff to do. And Monday will probably be just me and you updating everybody on what's up. But we'll talk to you guys.
We got
then.
plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah, So anyway, we got the festival thing done, jackalope out of the way, and talk to the guys. So we're good. Now we're going to have some other guests that'll come and talk about what they were doing. But you'll see the impact of being highly experienced, intellectual, been there, done that, got all the T-shirts. I got plenty of T-shirts. Got all the T-shirts. Anarchists like Dave Tribe. Mm-hmm. That was Patrick Burns' experience. He's like, wow, I found my tribe. Oh, and Donna's got Baricki Fast. Awesome. Thank you. All right, we're out. Peace, guys.